Your advice would be that if you're thinking of building a family with kids, buying a condo is not really ideal?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think it's not worth it. I know somebody who got a condo, but he's single, but it was probably like $2 million, which I don't think
Is what that now?
If you can afford it, why not, right? But like most people with the average salaries, I don't think they can afford it. Just not worth it.
Do you see the prices of condos going down now?
Because I don't own, I rent. In terms of rent, it's definitely a lot better than what I saw in, let's say, late 2023. Because studios in this area were going out for maybe 2,000 or even more, plus the utilities and everything. But now the place I'm renting is not even a studio, it's a one-bedroom, but it's only 1,900, so it definitely improved a lot.
This neighborhood, will you consider it to be quiet or noisy? Now, what you find in terms of noise is the fire truck.
Yeah.
Do you also see some power bikes like the one we just witnessed now? What about noise from party?
Not really, no. Because the condos are also pretty strict with the rules that they impose on the residents, that you have to be careful of the neighborhoods. What I do find in some buildings is that the noise insulin is not great, so sometimes it's hard to not hear. Even if your neighbors are watching TV, you can kind of hear it. But if the building is well done, it's not an issue.
How do you see the sizes of the condos now in terms of the space in which you live?
On average, I think it's about between 650 to 800 square feet-ish. Yeah.
And that would be for like one bed or two bed?
Yeah,
okay, most of the condos you find here are one bed.
One bed, yeah.
Do you have to pay extra charges aside from the rent?
Yeah, there's utilities. Most I think come with everything. You just have to pay the hydro, which is like $50 a month, and you have to get your own internet. But I also know some people who live in condo buildings that come with Wi-Fi. But yeah, you do have to pay utilities.
With the fact that you live in one of the condos, how do you consider the security part of where you live specifically, aside from the security concern that people may have having to walk around, go to downtown? There are some concern in that space, but in most of the condos, do you believe that the developers also have some tight security, private security personnel that they employ? Do you guys have private securities in your condo?
So I've seen in rental buildings that don't have any concierge or anything. Even if they do, they are not there at some point. But in the condo buildings now, or at least the ones that I lived in or live in now, there's 24/7 security. Not just for you, even if you're getting any delivery or anything, it's left in a secure place because somebody is taking care of them. It's not just left at your door. So in terms of those, your items are also secured. And of course, you need your keys and fobs to access the building. So not everybody can get in. I think that's also a great part of it. Nowadays, a lot of buildings, elevators also require a fob to go up, which also I think increases the security. And you get like high security keys and everything that you can't really get copied anywhere. So I think overall the security is a big part of why the fees are so high.
For the condos in Vancouver, for instance, you find the government trying as much as possible to buy condos.
Yeah.
By buying the condos, they are more or less like renting it out, rent to own kind of model for families to live in. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it definitely makes owning a property more easy. It's because, for me, personally, I would always think, the amount of rent we're paying every month, at the end of the day, if we could just own it, that'd be, so much better. It's like paying mortgage and, paying the monthly fee every month without the extra interest and everything, right? So I think it definitely would increase the number of homeowners that we have in this economy.
That means the part of rent to own makes it attractive.
For me, because I am pretty new to this concept, but for me overall it sounds like
It sounds
like that.
attractive. I mean, that kind of outweigh, the disadvantages,
Yeah.
because some believe that maybe it's a way of government bailing out
Yeah.
developers.
Yeah.
That developers have made a lot of money over the years, millions or maybe billions, who knows, of money, profits from developing these condos, and they just shouldn't be bailed out for whatever reason. But then again, there's other counter argument that government is, you're not bailing out an empty condos that is on liquidation, because government will literally buy it as a lesser amount. That way, it's more or less like government buying it for the people to rent and to own it. That concept of rent to own make it even much more attractive.
If you think about it, even if you didn't have the option to buy it out at the end, like the government is letting you now, you'd still be paying rent. So it's basically the same thing, but except you get to own it at the end.
At the end.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely a good option.
What's your overall advice for anyone thinking of, should I buy a condo now or should I not buy, just rent? That's on one hand. On the other hand is to think of, should I live in a house or should I live in a condo? What would be your message to those people?
I think it can be very subjective depending on what that individual wants. Long term, they want to have a family, they want to live single, they travel a lot or not. But overall, compared to living houses, I definitely suggest condos. Just even if the space is smaller, it's definitely much more convenient overall. So I'm willing to pay that extra money just to get all these conveniences.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.